interested to hear about that, but we'll just jump right in. So let's see. All right, so I just wanted to start off by kind of talking about what a senior center is. So a lot of times senior centers are often labeled more by older adults as somewhere where older people go, go and sit and fall asleep, and there's a outlook on what a senior center really is. So we're really trying to get away from that stigma and really try to be innovative in drawing to people. And one of those things that we do is by calling ourselves the Rose Centers for Aging Well. So by asking people to say that we want you to come here so you can age better and really engage with others in all different sorts of social, physical, mental, spiritual activities that can better your health instead of sitting at home. So I have the definition here of a senior center from the National Council on Aging. So really the senior center model, there's 4 different models, but really the general definition is that senior centers are for people to come and receive services all in one location. A common misconception is that people stay at senior centers. Senior centers are places that you would come in the morning, do what you'd like to do, and then leave in the afternoon. We do operate only during business hours, Monday through Friday. So I have the 4 different models here of a senior center. So that first model, a cafe model, this is a more innovative, kind of new model for senior centers. This is really to draw more of that younger demographic. So they usually do include a cafe where people can come and get refreshments, coffee, Danish, breakfast, whatever, and hang out and really get to know each other. This model is often a place that is multi-service, so serves a whole different array of places. This is more, sometimes they have like younger demographics that come in and use the space. Sometimes they have older. It just depends. But this is a cafe model. The lifelong learning model is just what it says. It's purely based on education. A lot of that is with career training, different hobbies, traveling, volunteering, different mentoring opportunities. So that is what the lifelong learning model looks like in a senior center. We have the fitness and wellness model, which is what the Rose Centers really go off of. So this is more so a place that focuses on all different sorts of wellness. That is your physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, financial even. So we really try and base ourselves off this fitness and wellness model. The technological model is something that we are interested in learning more about and hopefully becoming, because there's so many things that happen like this pandemic that keep people at home, or people with disabilities or conditions where they're not able to get out of their home. This is more for a homebound senior. This would all be like telephone-based programming. So that's playing bingo over the phone, talking about travel over the phone, engaging in arts and crafts over the phone. There are a lot of companies, more so we've really investigated in California, who have this on a larger model. That's really successful. And like I said, with the way that things are progressing, we definitely are interested in kind of expanding our fitness and wellness model to dip into this technological model as well. So then I just want to talk a little bit about Benjamin Rose. So for those of you who do not know, Benjamin Rose was founded in 1908. We are a Cleveland-based nonprofit that services older adults and caregivers. We have many subsidiaries, with the Rose Centers being one. So we have our financial arm, which is ESOP. So this focuses on financial wellness. So ESOP is empowering and strengthening Ohio's people. So they do anything from one-on-one financial wellness to They do VITA tax preparation. They do different educational series on financial health, scams, things like that. So that is ESOP, Center for Research and Education. They do all sorts of things. They do different projects to better the services that older adults are providing and evaluate those, as well as they take care of our like client satisfaction within the organization. And then we have the home and community-based services, which include an array of programs which range from our adult day program. We do a senior companion service where older adults themselves can become a senior companion and sit with other older adults and receive a small stipend for their service. We have counseling, we have case management, we have a group therapy for mental health. So it's a wide range that covers. Also, we have a conference center at Benjamin Rose that is able to rent, so that if anyone is interested in a larger event, they are more than welcome to rent our facility for that. All right, and so the Rose Centers for Aging Well, like I said, we're a subsidiary of Benjamin Rose. We were established in 2014, so this was after, you may have heard of the Golden Age Centers, was a large senior center organization in Cleveland. So we joined forces and really kind of became the sustainable version. So we have 7 senior centers across Cleveland. We have mostly east side locations. Gunning Park, where I am at, is the farthest west. We have an Oakwood Village location. We have a location in near Case Western, Ansel Road. We have one in East Cleveland at the Salvation Army. We have Shore, which is on Lakeshore Boulevard in the Collingwood neighborhood. We have Gunning. We have James Woods Center, which is located on East 25th. And then we have our King Kennedy Center, which Woods and King Kennedy are located in high-rise buildings. So we have a lot of seniors that live in the building that come down and receive the services from their apartments. And then we also have a home-delivered meals program, which is, we have some west side, but most of our clients are on the east side of Cleveland. We serve probably, I think right now, 600 clients in home-delivered meals. So that's kind of just like a brief overview of what we do. I have this video that I will share with you. Bear with me while I switch screens here.
Hey, Abby, we're unable to hear the video.
Got a
Hey, Abby, we
message
were
that you
unable
can't
to
hear it.
hear. Yeah, maybe we could just send around the link after so everybody could watch the video.
Yeah, sorry, I can hear it on my side.
No, that's okay. No worries.
1 second, still playing. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I will definitely send it around for everyone. All right, great. Can you see the slideshow again? Yeah, okay. Thanks. All right, perfect. All right, so about the Rose Centers and kind of just the requirements that were a little bit different than other senior centers. So the only requirement for us is that you are 60 years of age to come into the center. A lot of people ask, do I have to live in the neighborhood? Do I have to make a certain amount of money? And that is not the case with the Rose Centers. We accept anyone who's over the age of 60. All we do is fill out a short intake assessment when they come in and just assess their physical ability, because we do not provide any nursing services on site. So it is important that our people can come in and have minimal supervision and use the restroom, feed themselves, manage their own medications and things like that. As far as home delivered meals, we do have a couple more requirements. We do want to make sure that this person is 60 or they are able to be under 60 if they are disabled. We do ask that they don't receive meals from any other agency. So a lot of people on other programs, we don't want to be double dipping and sharing those people using other services because of the funding and things. So then our clients, we ask, homebound is kind of a broad definition, but more likely they have a difficulty preparing their own meals. So the main thing is that we do not require any income or geographical requirements here. So just a little bit about the demographics. These are from October of 2019. So most of our 61.6% of our population is female. 38.2% is male. And then 57.4% of our population is African American. And then 24.8% is considered Caucasian or white. And 17.73 did identify as other. So we have a wide range of people that attend the center. Anyone from the age of 60 to 105 is our oldest client. They are aging well. If they can make it for 105 years, it's awesome. So we offer a wide range of services to these people. Some of those services, other than just our regular activities, you would say, have a congregate meal program where we offer a hot meal every day to our seniors. So this is anyone who says, I would like to come into the center and receive a meal. We do a reservation, and those people are able to come in and eat lunch with us. Every center serves around 11:30, 12 o'clock for lunch. This is a set menu determined by our area agency on aging dietitian. Home delivered meal service, like I said, we have predominantly an east side population for home delivered meals, but we do serve on our west side as well. These, same thing, is determined by the Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging, the menu by their dietitian. These meals are delivered on trucks by a two-man operation. So there's a driver and a jumper. The driver drives the van, whereas the jumper jumps out, grabs the meal, and delivers it to the door. We do ask for a $1 donation for these services. We will not discontinue services if people cannot pay. So they do start, when they start the service, we do make that clear to them that it is a donation, and that if they are able to give the dollar, we would appreciate their help. So that is our meal service. And then we do connection to resources mainly. The staff in the centers, our centers are very low staffed, so a maximum of 5 people in the centers. That is at Gunning Park, we have a maximum of 5 people. In other centers, it's 3 or 2 staff people. So, and our staff persons are not required to be social workers. And then this is how we just connect to resources. We don't do any one-on-one social work within the centers. We do have social workers, though, within Benjamin Rose that we will refer to that can help with more in-depth situations that go beyond connecting to resources. Like I said, we do go off that fitness model, so we offer a lot of exercise classes. That's silver sneakers, Tai Chi. We have a Spirit of the Drum group that they play drums, African drums together. We do all sorts. At Gunning, we have a group of ladies that like to do a Richard Simmons tape together. So it's just a lot of fun exercise that they engage in together in groups. Social and recreation activities. So we do anything from monthly parties, we do craft classes, you name it, we try and bring it in. We have a walking club that gets pretty competitive over at East Cleveland, as well as they are known for their quilting over there. Each center has their own personality, so it's really important for our recreation activities to meet those individual needs of the different centers. So like I said, at Gunning, we are housed in a recreation center, so a lot of our services are based around the physical part of wellness, whereas our Lakeshore and Bone locations are a more frail population, so they're more based around, they do a group coloring, they do bingo, they do Jeopardy, things that fit them better than the more vigorous exercise like you would do at Gunning. Volunteer opportunities. A lot of our volunteers within the centers are seniors themselves. So we do have very minimal outside volunteers that help us at the centers, but because mostly they are internal older adults that help us. So that goes from checking people in at the table, in the morning to make sure they're there for lunch. We have people that help serve lunch, bingo callers, things like that. Those are all with our volunteers. Like I said, we do education and art programs, so that's bringing in outside people for health presentations. So we'll have people from different hospice organizations to educate on hospice, different health clinics, pick different topics like hydration, healthy eating, heart health, all sorts of education programs that come into the centers, as well as like evidence-based programs like Matter of Balance, things like that. As far as arts, we do work with multiple grant programs. So Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, we do a grant through them that helps us partner with the Musical Theater Project, and this year is Get Hep Swing, which is a swing organization that teaches swing dance. And also we have partnered with, like I said, Musical Theater Project for multiple years now, and they do intergenerational theater projects. So they've done Peter Pan, Wizard of Oz, and they act them out and sing together. So that's also where intergenerational comes in. We partner with the Intergenerational Schools of Cleveland. So there's a Near West one that we partner with at Gunning, and then there's a Lakeshore one that they partner with at the Lakeshore Rose Center. So those ages range anywhere from kindergarten to, I think our oldest is 6th grade. And then we do have college students also coming in for physical therapy training. They come in and do programs, different nursing programs come in and do blood pressure checks, like that. As far as funding, we're kind of a puzzle piece together funding source here. We have funding that comes from the Older Americans Act, which is funded through, comes down from Western Reserve Area Agency on Aging. We do get dollars that mostly go towards programming from the county, so as senior adult services that we classify as DSAS. The United Way that serves multiple different things that we do, but predominantly in the Rose Centers, it is transportation. Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield has recently put in funding for transportation as well. We do get payment from Medicaid Passport, which is through mostly for meals. We do have annual fundraisers through the Rose Centers that help us cover some costs that aren't covered with those sources. In-kind donations, and like I mentioned, that dollar donation that we receive from seniors for each meal. Like I said, we do not require the donation, it's just if they are able to give. Obviously with our volunteers, that helps us not hire staff to cover those needs. We do have sponsorship for different programming. We have people come in and sponsor entertainment or different goodies to give to the older adults during parties and different things like that. And then the grants that I talked about, CAC, Cuyahoga Arts and Culture, and then the Ohio Arts Council for programming. So we have multiple community partners, which I would have to have multiple slides to cover, but 3 that I wanted to really concentrate on during this presentation is the Cleveland Department of Aging, Salvation Army, and CMAJ, which is Cuyahoga County Metropolitan Housing Authority. Our senior centers, we do not own the spaces where we are in. They are all rented, leased, if you want to say, spaces. They're shared spaces that we have come to an agreement with the site that we will occupy from certain business hours. So with the Cleveland Recreation Centers of Cleveland Department of Aging, we occupy for Gunning Park. We operate out of the Gunning Park Recreation Center. And then, like I said, for our East Cleveland location, we operate out of their Salvation Army. And then our other locations, we serve out of these Metropolitan Housing Authority buildings. So they are also community spaces. So a lot of times on the weekends, our spaces will be used for parties, for different meetings, after hours. I know at Gunning, they do after school kids tutoring in our space. So they're all shared spaces that we've come to agreements with the site for our use. So it's kind of a good partnership. We bring people into their space and they supply us with the space. Obviously, we have multiple partners beyond that, especially like our partners at Summa Health and NEOMED for this presentation. I did list the link for if you'd like to check out all the partners that we partner with through Benjamin Rose and the Rose Centers. I wanted to concentrate on the services that we do not provide. So we, like I said, we don't provide medical services. So we do ask that the people are able to toilet themselves, feed themselves, manage their own medications. We do not staff a nurse or doctor on site. We do have people that come in and do blood pressure checks just for an update for the seniors more on a regular basis. We have like EMS has volunteered their time, Cleveland State Nursing, they volunteer their time to come in and do things like that, but we do not staff anyone who is a nurse or doctor or assistants with those toileting and feeding things. We do not have people stay overnight. They do come and go as they please. We serve ratio, like at Gunning, it is anywhere from 50 to 70 people in the room with a 5-person staff. So they have to be able to care for themselves on their own. And then we don't offer any case management. So like I said, our people on site are not social workers typically. So we do refer internally, if possible, to our Benjamin Rose social workers. But if that is not possible, then we do refer externally. And then a little bit about COVID. It's definitely a learning process for all of us, but we have really changed the way that we do things during this time. So we have closed all of our centers because of Governor DeWine's recommendations. So all of our centers remain closed at this time, but we have switched our people who normally come into the center to home delivered meals. So that has required us to have more jumpers and drivers, more trucks to go out into the community, and our brave staff that have, with proper equipment, have gone out to deliver these meals to an extended amount of people. So like I said, we normally serve around 600. We now at this time are serving close to 1,000 participants through home delivered meals. As well as serving them home delivered meals, we have institute weekly wellness calls. So we have asked a lot of Benjamin Rose employees to, at this time, call this influx of people to make sure that they're doing okay at home, because we can't keep our eyes on them in the centers like normal. You get to know your people and what their day-to-day looks like, and you can tell usually when something's off. So not being able to see them has really changed the way that we do our work. So now we are making weekly wellness calls to our participants with the help of the Benjamin Rose staff and outside volunteers as well. So like I said, they've been reassigned to make these wellness calls weekly to our participants. We do have opportunities for volunteers at this time to come in and help us deliver meals if that's something they're able to do or willing to do. Otherwise, we do ask for volunteers to make wellness calls at this time to make sure that our seniors are getting the help that they need. And then we are seeing an influx of referrals and an influx of intakes at this time for older adults that normally are able to get out, but because of Governor DeWine's restrictions on older adults getting out into the community and getting groceries, medications, things like that, they are in need of home delivered meals where they otherwise would not. So listed below is the formal statements in the requirements of Benjamin Rose for COVID. And like I said, for volunteering, we have our COVID volunteer opportunities right now, which is wellness calls, delivery of groceries and other essential items, and then assistance with home delivered meals, getting those meals to the seniors. We also have a nutrition solution program that we are servicing. This is even without the pandemic happening. It's happening since about November, I believe. And this is a program where recently discharged people from South Point Hospital are receiving medically tailored meals based on their condition. So this is high blood pressure, heart disease, anyone with a renal failure, renal diagnosis, they're receiving medically tailored meals to their homes. And this is a 60-day program. So this is supposed to help with reducing hospital readmission, and also to hopefully have connections and getting them to resources easier than you normally would as an older adult being discharged from the hospital. So we help connect them to other resources they may need. And then after our program, 60 days is through, we help either roll them over to our home delivered meals program at Benjamin Rose, or we try and connect them with a new home delivered meal service. And so I talk about quickly, if obviously not everyone is in the Cleveland area, most of you probably are not. I just want to talk about what you can do to help your local senior center. So just to encourage the people in your life, your clients, your family, your friends, to try the senior center closest to them at least once, to try it out and get the feel of what that may be like. Like I said in the beginning, a lot of times they have the stigma that this is just where old people go, when that is definitely not the case. So just encourage everyone in your life to try their closest senior center at least once. Referring your homebound older adults to a Meals on Wheels program or home delivered meals program near them. Obviously, being homebound comes with its restrictions, so having those resources on hand is always great to be able to refer them to those programs. And then get on your mailing list for the senior center that's closest to you to receive different updates and newsletters from them to just know what's going on in your community. And then also to volunteer. So like I said, we do have some volunteers within Benjamin Rose, but I'm sure there's definitely opportunities in your local senior centers to volunteer. That's it. So I'll have time for questions, see what's going on in the chat. Does anybody have any questions?
Abigail, I have a question.
Sure.
The volunteers who make the wellness calls, are they on site? And if they're not on site, how do they follow up if they do suspect a problem?
Sure, so they are not on site, so they are all done from home at this point. So each, we have an online form that you fill out, and each online form is reviewed by a staff person at Benjamin Rose. And then if there was an issue, you would mark that in your form. If it is immediate, we do ask that you call that contact. There's a training that each volunteer goes through to learn what's immediate and what can go just in the form and be translated to the person later. And that's how we hold accountability and all of that. So there is a training and there is a background check that go with the volunteer. See, what is the process to become a volunteer in the chat? So there's just an application that you would do, then the background check, and then the training. So that all really has been done really quickly during this pandemic. So right now, it's like a week turnaround time. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Jen Drost. I'm a geriatrician down at SUMA. My question, and I apologize, I had some technical difficulties in the midst, so I hope you didn't cover it. But what are some of the variability that you see within senior centers, and what might be some reasons then to encourage people to try and again a different senior center if they didn't have as pleasant of an experience as they had hoped the first time?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, all of our senior centers have a different personality. So if you did have a not so great experience at one senior center, a different senior center could be completely different. The staff definitely changes the mood in the room, as well as the people and the attitudes that they bring to the centers. So I would encourage your older adult to try a different center. It all just depends on the group and what that senior is looking for. If they're looking for a more physical based or social based, they could look at the calendar of their local senior center and see what's best for them. So yeah, it definitely, we try and make it obviously welcoming to all, but there is some people that are looking for something specific to engage with. So finding that center for you is definitely important.
Hey. Hello?
Hello?
So we can hear you.
Oh, hi. Sorry, I got booted off. How are your programs funded?
I'm sorry?
How are your programs funded?
Yeah, so I had that slide about funding, but we have quite a puzzle piece together list of funders. So we receive a lot of our funding from the Title III of the Older Americans Act. So that comes down from our area agency, as well as we have dollars funding programming through the county. And then we have the United Way, we have small programming, grants, all sorts of things that fund us. So we do an annual fundraiser as well. So there is quite a bit that goes into our funding, as well as donations from the older adults daily.
Thanks. Sorry, I got
You're good.
booted off the webinar, so
You're good.
Are there any other questions?
What are like obstacles to getting people, you know, getting like the optimal use of senior centers? Besides, you sort of alluded to this stigma. Are there other major things you see?
Yeah, so one of our large obstacles is transportation. We do offer transportation to the Rose Centers through a contracted transportation company, but there's always the matter of funding. So we do take special trips and things like that for that we have to take actually in compliance with our funders. We take 2 trips a month to get our seniors out for a cultural event, and then also for a shopping or a lunch event. But other than that, just the day-to-day transportation, we have funding for it, but that is usually one of the funding sources that is cut first. That is hard to get people. And so we did have funding cut from a funding source, I think in 2018. And then that's when the Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield came in and supported us throughout the end of 2018. So it was really great for them to help us secure that funding to provide the service to older adults throughout that year. So that is one of our main obstacles.
Anyone else have a question? I'm just looking to see if anybody's raising their hand or anything.
Abby, this is Jenny. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm just wondering if maybe you could tell everyone on the call a little bit about ways that they can stay connected with the Rose Center, if you, especially with the newsletter. Talk maybe a little bit about that newsletter we put out every month.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Rose Centers put out a newsletter every month through a company called LPI. So you are able to subscribe to their, to receive the newsletter from us monthly at ourseniorcenter.com. So it's ourseniorcenter.com. And you just look for the Rose Centers for Aging Well in the search box. And then you can subscribe to our newsletter to receive it monthly via email. We also have on the presentation here, you see the Benjamin Rose social media, but we also have a Rose Centers for Aging Well Facebook that we do a lot of videos and pictures of our older adults doing different activities that you can also follow on Facebook. So yeah, and then Benjamin Rose has its own email listserv that you can join as well.
Thank you. And just if you don't want to subscribe to the newsletter, but you would like to read them, we also always post them on our benrose.org website as well, on our Rose Centers page, if you'd like to download a PDF version.
Thanks, Jenny. think I saw a hand raised.
It was me. Hi.
Hi.
You should just send that information out that you just said, how we could be connected to everybody.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Abby, if you could send me your slides, I could send that along with the recording as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a slide in the slideshow that does have the link for the video, so that will be encompassed in here. I'm sorry that you couldn't hear the volume, the audio on that.
Well, if there are no other questions, then I want to thank Abby for her presentation. It was very interesting.
Thank you all very much.
You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Glad to have you all with us during this time, so thank you for sticking around.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Everyone, have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.